Do you have self-worth? Do you even know what it means to have self-worth? How to love yourself, how to live, how to respect yourself? If you don't, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about that. If you're new here, y'all know, my name is Tyson. But if you didn't know what I talk about, over here we talk about relationships, manifestation, spirituality, breaking limiting, I was about to say breaking law of attraction, breaking limiting beliefs, and self-worth. So how to love, how to live, and how to accept yourself, right? When we think about self-worth, a lot of it comes down to, I think, dating, okay? And love, most importantly. A lot of people don't believe that they're worthy of a relationship. They're not pretty enough. They feel like they are not, able to break off certain old patterns so that they could be perfect or right for that partner. And I had that issue where I thought that I needed to change myself. I needed to be this perfect person. I needed to force myself to be this perfect person so that way I can be accepted and I can also be the person that I want to be for my partner, for my friends, and things like that. And when I started to realize that's actually not self-worth at all. That's actually a lack of self-worth. Because when you're forcing yourself to become something or you're trying to change something about yourself, that means that you, number one, you could possibly have an insecurity around not accepting where you are in the moment, or two, you just don't have enough grace with yourself and where you are. And no matter how frustrated I was, I had to come to the realization that I am where I am, and with what I'm currently dealing with my emotions is what I'm actually dealing with. I actually just posted a video about my depression and awakening that I had. So I was trying to think about how to say the video, but I'm gonna put the card up above because I think that depression and self-worth can be linked together. When we don't have self-worth, we can tend to get a little bit depressed, especially if we want to really change something about ourselves. So that, and 9 to 10, it's really for other people. A lot of times we want to change ourselves so that we can stop feeling the way that we're feeling. But the truth is sometimes the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call it, the divine intelligence, I believe takes us through these lessons. And if you don't believe in the universe or any of those things, then that's okay. You can just say self-worth and yourself. But I do believe that self-worth is something that you have to build over time. Like a lot of people have said to me that, oh my God, you're so confident on camera and you speak in front of people and I've seen you do all these things. And it's like, yes, but I also had to build up that confidence and actually had to build up the worth to know that the things that I'm talking about, people will actually listen to. There's going to be someone who actually will be inspired by the words and by the things that I say. And not only that, but that I'm worthy enough of putting my work out there and I know that people will love it. I know that because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I've lived. I know what I've experienced. I know what I've practiced. This isn't just bullshit that I'm throwing at you. This is real life stuff, which is why a lot of my videos are just cut open and raw, okay? Because the only way to create self-worth is honestly to accept where we're at, okay? And know that we're worthy of growing through and getting through whatever it is that we're growing through. Even if it's sad, even if it's a low moment, we can still get through that and grow through that and know that we're deserving of experiencing an amazing life out of that. When we talk about how to live in self, so when we talk about living in self-worth, we have to ask ourselves, if you don't believe that you're pretty enough, you don't believe that you can get the job, you don't believe that your career can take off, you don't believe that people actually support you, we gotta go back to that shadow work. And I think I have a couple videos on shadow work. I'm gonna put them up in the cards, but I will definitely put my inner child healing playlist if I cannot find some of those shadow work videos, because I believe that a lot of things come from childhood. When we don't believe that we have worth, it becomes these things where a lot of the times we were told, not necessarily by parentals, it could be, but we were mainly told by maybe friends or maybe a coach that you weren't worthy. And maybe they didn't say that outright. Maybe they just said, oh my gosh, you never know what you're doing. Can you get off the field? Let me let the other running back come and do this. I had that before, right? And that worth can look at as, to me, it can translate to me and say, oh my gosh, if I can't run a play right, I must not be able to play football right. I must not, be fast enough. I must not be built enough. I must not be intelligent enough because I didn't grasp the concept fast enough. And so now when I go out throughout my life as an adult or as I get older, I become very conscious when I want to express something that I found or express some new research that I've done or talk about a topic on YouTube, because I'm like, oh, I may not be smart enough or know enough to be able to talk about this topic, which isn't true at all, right? I actually kind of thought about that when I was talking to some friends about racism, because I was like, well, I don't know, a lot of that history. And so instead of me being afraid, I actually was inspired, and I said, let me learn more about what it is that you're talking about. And I went out and bought a book, and it really changed my perspective in my life. But the thing is that if I did not notice that I was actually worthy of knowing that I don't know everything, but I'm worthy of talking about what I'm talking about. I know that people love it. And I can begin to live my life saying, I don't know everything, but the things that I do know, the things that I'm an expert at, I can go in and I can be worthy. I know that I'm worthy. I know that my worth matters because I know me. And the last thing, we want to talk about accepting ourselves. Okay, I kind of mentioned this a little bit before, but accepting yourself of where you're at. This is part of your worthiness too. Being worthy to know that I am where I am right now. In my depression video, I actually had mentioned that I wasn't accepting the fact of what I was feeling. I was wanting to be so perfect, to change everything so that I can be perfect for my partner, I can be perfect for my friends, I can be perfect for all these different people. And most importantly, I just didn't want to feel the feelings anymore. And I had to be reminded by a couple of people that I explained this to, that you actually have to accept the season of where you're at, okay? That's what worth is about. So worth is knowing this is where I am, not necessarily saying I'm worthy of being here, but I'm worth having compassion for myself, and enough compassion to say this is where I am, and I know I'm being taken care of, and I know I'll be okay. And I know that this won't last forever. I'm just learning. So if you have trouble with self-worth, I would highly suggest you start doing some shadow work. And the first thing I would actually ask myself is, does my lack of self-worth in this area, it could be whatever area, it could be fitness, it could be your food, diet, it could be the way you dress, it could be your looks, anything. Does the lack of my self-worth from whatever come from my childhood? And if you can answer that question, I feel like it would, number one, be really great for you, because that's a head start of understanding your self-worth. But number two, you will be able to really grasp that that may not even be me anymore. So the Tyson who felt a lack of self-worth because of playing football and hearing that coach tell me that I didn't know a play and I had to go sit down and I didn't know what I was doing. So that person who thought that I was less than, and maybe it was coming from a place of frustration. So that wasn't really truly him. It was just he was coming at me in a way that was kind of like, damn, man, like I wish you would not have said that shit, But it reminded me that I actually am not less than, and I'm actually a lot smarter. And so when I realized that actually didn't even come from me, that came from him and his own frustration. Because if you ever play sports, and it could be hectic out there, But the whole point is that I took an awareness and a realization, and I really broke it down to try to understand what is actually happening here, what is actually going on. So I hope that today's video helped you to learn about self-worth just a little bit more. I hope that you take some time to really understand your insecurities. All right, this can be in your looks. This can be in, maybe the way that you're not very educated on a certain topic, or you don't know certain music or whatever it is. Like, realize that your self-worth is all starting with you and what you believe about yourself. And whatever you believe about yourself is what will show up in your life. If you believe that you're worthy of love, love will come to you. If you don't believe that you're worthy of love, figure out why. Ask yourself why. What happened in my life that caused me to not feel like I'm worthy of experiencing the next best thing? Because it may not even have been when you were a child. It may have just been a relationship that you had when you was 15 and it scarred you forever. You may have felt like, for me at one point, that I didn't feel like I was worthy enough of even expressing my sexuality and owning owning black queerness, honestly. And being able to express myself and be honest with myself. And because of that, because I didn't, the lack of worthiness came from people telling me certain things of what was going to happen to me. My life was going to be horrible. All these different things that was their own perceptions. When I've looked at my experiences and the way I've taken care of myself, the way that I have loved myself more than I ever have, the way that people are attracted to me, the way that I have learned that there are family members who have called and love me, friends too, and wanting to learn more about queerness. And I appreciate that because they don't have to. And so once you know that you are worthy of love, you are worthy of being accepted, you are worthy of all these different things, that is when you will experience love within yourself and you will experience love from other people. So today I want you to make sure that you take time for yourself to ask yourself that question. Remember, the question is, if I'm experiencing lack of self-worth, where does this come from, right? My lack of self-worth comes from this. What experience did I have in my life that caused this? All right, so I really am going to end the video now, but I hope you have a good day. Make sure you comment down below any thoughts that you may have with self-worth. Do you have any extra self-worth tips that you can give other people that come to this video and watch this video? So with that being said, I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Peace.